fantastic. It's like I know her. What happened? Did she leave you?
I was never in love with my wife when I married her. But I was in the beginning of my career and I needed money. She was rich. And she loved me. People have married for less. And everything seemed to be all right. She was happy. She was pregnant and she got a child. I didn't treat her as she deserved. I was away a lot, and there were many opportunities there. Sometimes there were certain other women. She found out about one of those affairs. I mean, no sins, no reproaches, no reproaches. She just left. She took Gabriel with her, and I was alone to do as I liked. And I found that I discovered that I was in love with my own wife after 9 years marriage. That she had gone. I couldn't concentrate on nothing else. That tried to get her back, and I behaved like a schoolboy. I sent her long letters, flowers, cables in the beginning. Everything comes straight back. But finally, she agreed to meet me for dinner. And I think it was at that time she discovered that I was desperate. And eventually, 6 months after the breakup, she returned. And everything was marvelous, fantastic. She wanted another child, and she was pregnant again. And then I bought this house, and I rushed through the work just to get it finished in time. But there were complications with the pregnancy. It was thought that termination would be necessary. But after a week, she came home again. They had decided against the operation. It was fantastic. It was marvelous. We had a little party here, and with just a few friends because she wasn't strong enough for a bigger one. And 4 days after that, she was dead. It was cancer, terminal cancer. They never tell you when it's so serious. And well, this was 1 year ago. And I sent Gabriel away at school in Switzerland. I found it shouldn't be an easy way, but well, you know what one does in such cases. Well, but I went through one day, and then the next, and I've been taught to be grateful for the moment. And so when I saw you today,
I'm sorry, I really don't know what to say.
Well, I loved her very much. Speaking. Oh, Adele. I think I'd better get up to them and see if I can push them a little, and you better get on to New York. No, I'll deal with that myself. That's fine. And if it's important, I call you back tonight. Good, Adele. Bye. Well, if it's confirmed, that means minimum 6 weeks delay from the day they are back in production. Well, circulate the others and offer the usual 10% delayed bonus. Oh, you have already booked the flight. That's fine, good. And if it's support, I call you back tonight. Good. Bye. Non, il faut que je lui parle personnellement. Oui. C'est Raoul Cramé qui parle. Je les rappellerai vers 7 heures. D'accord. Merci, mademoiselle.
Sherlock Holmes would have been a good programmer?
Perhaps. I think Dr. Watson would have been better. Holmes is what we in the industry call a whiz kid.
What's wrong with that?
We don't want genius in computers, Mr. Wood. We want plodders, people who take pains. And we want logical minds, not temperamental, excitable characters that can't be relied upon.
My wife says I'm too logical, earthbound while she soars into great flights of fantasy.
Do you feel that you and your wife are compatible?
Do you mean, do we have matching hobbies, or do we enjoy making love?
I'm merely trying to ascertain the nature of your domestic life, Mr. Wood. The computer industry is a demanding one, and we like to ensure that there's a stable background.
Well, just what is your idea of a stable background?
I don't.
A nice, tidy, antiseptic apartment, with life arranged neatly in rows in geometrical progression, a place for everything and everything in its place, especially emotion. My domestic life is variable, Mrs. Walker, like most people's. Sometimes there is cake for tea, and sometimes we get drunk and we argue in the most bitter manner about the most trivial things. I love my wife, and sometimes I can't stand the sight of her. Is that what you wanted to know?
I did not wish to probe into matters of a personal nature.
Oh, look. Let's not pretend that these games we're playing are for any other reason than to do just that.
You agreed this afternoon to a further interview. It has to be conducted within the proper terms of reference.
Is something the matter?
It's just a headache. Shall we continue?
There's any point. Do you go through... How many of these interviews do you go through a week?
The initial number runs into several figures with the batches from university and so on. It's only by a rigorous process of selection that we can tell if we have any suitable material.
When I was a child, my mother used to spend all summer preserving things. Fruit, mostly. Greengages, Victoria plum, damson. Hundreds of bottles on shelves in the garage, with handwritten labels and a file of comments on each year's vintage. Well, one year, a whole row of tomatoes exploded. Wham. Just like that. One after the other. But the funny thing was, she put best since 1948 in the file. And it was the jars that were faulty. It was the little washers in the lids. And ever since then, she's filed tomatoes under unpredictable. My wife, on the other hand, buys everything in supermarkets, so that if anything goes wrong, she can get a replacement and a free packet of detergent.
What are your feelings about women's liberation, Mr. Wood?
I like women to be women. Vive la différence. Within that frame of reference, they can do as they please.
Do you believe in marital fidelity?
Yes, I believe in it as an ideal.
For both partners or only the woman?
Well, I said as an ideal, in which case it must apply equally.
Most men seem to regard infidelity as their prerogative.
Most men have a very old-fashioned idea about women. Now, I want to ask you a question.
Yes?
Are you attracted by me?
Why do you ask that?
Because I think you are. I think you are getting a great deal of pleasure out of asking me these questions, out of the feeling of power that it gives you. And I think what you would really want is for me to make love to you. No. No, you want to have me as one of the perquisites of the executive suite.
Please,
Jesus.
The sun likes the look of blue sky. He's sad. What's happening on Earth?
Judy! How about giving those plants of yours a drink, then? Judy? Where's she got to? You come back here at once. Bloody kids are all the same. Come on out. I know you're in here. I told you not to be messing. Now come on out. All right, let go of me.
I'm not heavy, am I?
All right, you're not heavy. Now let go of me. But if you don't let go of me, I should have to spank you. You wouldn't like that, would you? Being spanked like a naughty girl with her knickers down. Get your boots on.
You help me. You hurt me. You shouldn't do that.
You're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble one of these days. No. Get your boots on and get out there and water those plants, will you?
I told my dad.
Just you get out there and water those plants, will you? Taps by the pool.
Kiss me.